What next? A nuclear-tipped Taliban? One of the most urgent foreign issues on President Barack Obama's agenda is something called AFPAC. You will be hearing a lot about AFPAC, shorthand for Afghanistan-Pakistan, two neighboring countries whose immense problems with radical Islamic militants or radicals are intertwined. But Pakistan contains the bigger and much far scarier danger. Al-Qaeda and a network of Taliban militants are based in Pakistan's tribal areas, from which they threaten the stability of the nuclear-armed country. This is what has happened. The Taliban have been pushed into Pakistan, which in turn has destabilized Pakistan, and actually the whole region. Yes, again, Pakistan has been destabilized by the Afghanistan-War. And that's why you should pay close attention to what happened last week in the Pakistani valley of Swat. Swat was once known as the Switzerland of Pakistan, a so-called Shangri-La that drew tourists to its high mountains, fruit orchards, and clear lakes. But the valley, set in Pakistan's northwest frontier province, and not far from the wild tribal areas along the Afghan border, fell under vicious Taliban control over the past year. Girls' schools were shut, singing and dancing were banned, and most of the educated inhabitants fled or ran away. Any dissenter risked having his head chopped off. 12,000 Pakistani troops have been unable to defeat approximately 3,000 militants in 6 months of fighting. So here's the big news. The Pakistani government has virtually conceded their area to the militants or the radicals, saying it will accept a system of Islamic law in Swat and beyond. The government is supposedly testing the good Taliban, bad Taliban, whatever that means, thesis also being considered in Afghanistan. Supposedly, the theory is that reconcilable tribal leaders can somehow be peeled off from unreconcilables. Well, perhaps, but there's scant sign this can work in Swat. The deal was cut with an older insurgent leader, Sufi Muhammad, supposedly, somehow, once again, he will persuade tougher Taliban to lay down their arms. Like that's really going to happen. Pakistani defense experts have said they're trying to isolate the hardcore terrorists from the moderate militants. I think it is a time of trial to see if this works. Like that's really going to happen. But critics say the deal is a desperation move made by a weak or weakening civilian government and an army that doesn't want to fight the insurgents or militants. The Pakistani army has been remarkably ineffective, said a South Asia expert at the Council on Foreign Relations. He said the army, which is trained to fight land wars against India, lacks the counterinsurgency skills to hit bad guys and not good guys. So, as a result, many innocent civilians are killed and hurt, leading locals to accept the Taliban as the lesser of two evils. The poor people are desperate for the violence to stop, whatever it takes. And the Pakistani army has an additional problem. Although civilian and military leaders now recognize that the militants threaten the state, the army is very uncomfortable about killing Pakistanis. So when someone offers them a clever way out, they are inclined to look at it. However, the militants have failed to honor past government deals. Top Pakistani experts on Islamic militants are terrified. They're horrified by the deal. It's a surrender, they say. It is a major psychological victory for the extremists or militants, and a major concession by the state of Pakistan to extremism. How could they let the Taliban take over one of the most strategic valleys in Pakistan, only 100 kilometers, 60 miles from the capital, Islamabad? That question remains unanswered. Will the SWAT militants permit girls' schools to reopen, civil servants to return to their jobs, and residents to return home safely? When asked about SWAT at a small meeting with journalists at the World Economic Forum in Davos last month, the Pakistani Prime Minister said, "SWAT is not so big that we should be concerned," or something like that. Anyway, yes, a nuclear-tipped Taliban. What will happen if that does happen? Or maybe it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And could the Taliban really take over Pakistan someday? It seems to become more plausible or more possible. Yes, every day, or day by day, as they get closer to the capital of Pakistan. And, once again, the Afghanistan-War has destabilized the whole region, and most specifically, it has destabilized Pakistan and the government of Pakistan. It appears to be that the Taliban and their allies, or whatever, seem to be getting more powerful, stronger every day, going into more areas, gaining ground. What will happen when that day comes? Doesn't sound that good. Sounds kind of bad. But these are the facts. This is the reality. It does seem or appear to be getting closer every day to a time of the nuclear-tipped Taliban. And then what happens? Once again, everything is connected in this world, or interconnected. The economic crisis, worldwide economic crisis going on around the world. The extreme weather, climate change. All the crazy events going on around the world. And in turn, all these things are connected to the end times transition days. And once again, there are many, many signs. Just look around day by day.